Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Avenues to Wellness podcast. I am Tamara Fidler, a board-certified health coach and the host of the show. On Avenues to Wellness, we discuss everything surrounding wellness, from yoga to habit change, disease prevention, and the latest nutrition research. We tackle tough topics, and you will find inspiration to stay on your path to a healthier future. Welcome back, friends, and happy Monday. Today's topic is one I could discuss for hours, but since this episode is only 10 minutes long, I will keep it concise. Today, I aim to answer the question, is it really more expensive to eat healthy food than to eat junk food? To address this, I'm going to provide evidence and research on the subject. Also, I'll share some mindset shifts that can help you navigate this issue, especially if money and resources are barriers in your quest to eat more healthfully. So let's dive in. I decided to talk about this topic because food costs are high right now. Although there were trends indicating that food prices have been decreasing in recent months, it's generally agreed that the cost of living remains high. So whether you're ordering food or going to the grocery store, it's an expensive ordeal, regardless of the type of food you're buying. So with that in mind, if you're someone who truly wants to make healthier food choices, but you feel it's out of reach due to our current food system, then today's discussion may bring some much needed clarity. To answer bluntly, yes, healthier food generally costs more than less healthy options. Simply put, and I'm just going to make a blanket statement, you get what you pay for when it comes to food. An evidence-based study from 2013, published in the British Medical Journal, found that a healthier diet costs about $1.50 more per day than a less healthy one, and that was across 10 different countries. And although these figures are from 2013, I suspect the trend remains similar today. But you didn't come to listen to this podcast to hear what you probably already know and see with your own eyes. You likely want to understand why this is the case and what you can do about it. So let's take a quick walk through history to see how we arrived at this predicament. Why is it easier, cheaper, and more convenient and more accessible to purchase less healthy food? Because it wasn't always this way. For most of history, humans were intricately involved in the production of their own food, and there wasn't much distinction between healthy and junk food. It was just food. So following World War II, innovations in farming created a food system designed to produce the most calories at the lowest cost, meeting the needs of that era. However, this led to a system that mass produces foods, contributing to disease and even environmental harm. And that's a very succinct, abbreviated version of how we got here. The full story also involves factors like government subsidies, marketing, refrigeration, and cultural shifts. But the main point that I wanted to make is that around the mid-20th century, specifically the 1950s, things changed drastically in food production. And in the grand scheme of human history, the situation and challenges we face right now are relatively new. And all of these contributing factors could really be hours-long discussions in and of themselves. But today I want to focus on the one primary shift we can make to turn the tide when it comes to food purchases for ourselves, then our families, and then ultimately as a whole. Because telling someone that to eat a healthy diet, that you must spend more money, sometimes money that they don't have, is disempowering, and it's also not true. There is something that we can do that will supersede all of the tips and tricks and coupon cutting and food prep and planning and so on. There is something that we can do. The single primary shift we can make to bring healthier food back into our lives affordably is this. It's to fall in love with cooking at home again. Currently, we're enamored with convenience foods and the benefits they offer, mostly the minimal preparation. And there are restaurant chains, and I live near Philadelphia, and the food scene here is amazing. But we need to redevelop a taste for cooking with ingredients, see the value in it, devote time to it, and appreciate the process. But for most families, including mine, this is the greatest challenge. It's really not helpful to talk about buying in bulk, choosing nutrient-dense foods, or eliminating snacking if we're still infatuated with these foods, if we still prefer the processed or ultra-processed foods, if we still crave the easier choice. I want to share with you a story that you may be able to relate to. So, a few weeks ago, I decided to make homemade Twix bars. And in my family, we have a few Twix bar lovers. So I set out to create a fresher version using quality ingredients. And let me tell you, I thought I hit a home run. They were delicious. So I used almond flour for the base. I made a gooey center and then topped it off with melted chocolate. And then after they firmed up in the fridge, I cut them into square-like bars. But so what was the result? Did everyone in my family love them? Some did, but some weren't as excited. And what was missing? I'll tell you what was missing. The ritual of eating a Twix bar. The opening crackle of the aluminum wrapper, the recognizable Big Twix logo, the ritual of stopping at a convenience store and then opening the package on the way home, and the long shelf life. My Twix bars had to be eaten within a week or they'd go bad. And because of these differences, the homemade Twix bars received mixed reviews in our household. They didn't quite hit the mark. My homemade Twix bars were simply not as fun. Food prepared at home can seem basic and boring, and there are no colorful packages, no exciting build-up to eating it, and it takes time and effort to make. So to truly be lured away from cheaper, convenient, and less healthy foods, we need to start seeing and feeling and falling in love with, again, the benefits of cooking at home with real ingredients. That's because home-cooked meals are less likely to contain excess salt, fat, and preservatives, and are more likely to be nutrient-dense compared to frozen or fast food options. And I'm no stranger to these issues. I have my preferences, and I've gotten used to conveniences. And with kids in sports and with work and all the other commitments in life, what I am talking about probably seems like a pipe dream, perhaps in your family as well. But I wanted to sum up today's episode. I wanted to go back to our original question. Is healthy food really more expensive than less healthy food? And as we learned, yes, factually, mathematically, and it has been proven in research that this is true. And that I shared a bit about how and why we have gotten here in terms of food. However, we can empower ourselves to shift our behavior to begin to value whole ingredients again. And that is to learn to fall a little out of love with convenience foods and a little more in love with preparing food at home. So if you are someone who would like to eat in a more healthful way, but you feel like the only way to keep bellies full with the money or time that you have is to buy fast food or something frozen with a lot of preservatives, then please know that there are ways to fill bellies with healthier foods on your budget, but it will likely require a shift in your preferences. And to start that out, it will likely just be one small meal at a time with lots of experimenting. So those are my thoughts for this week. Thank you so much for listening. Please go ahead and share this podcast with anyone who you think might be interested. Thanks so much and have a great week ahead.